Hi, everyone who joined us today, who will see this interview. My name is Alena Martynenko. I'm Realting.com CEO. And I'm so happy to introduce all our visitors and all our viewers, our partners from Portugal real estate company named Ideal Homes Portugal. And its sales consultant, Sasha Sharpley.
Yes,
am I right? Correct. Okay, so nice. So I know that your company is really recognized as a multi-award-winning real estate agency based in the Algarve. Ideal Homes International provides a one-stop shop with over 35 years combined experience in the real estate industry. You can speak with experts in a variety of fields. And please, can you tell something more about your company?
Well, so we've been in the real estate business for over 10 years here directly in the Algarve, and there are many real estate agencies here, all competing for business. But I think that we are probably the unique real estate agency in the sense that we are able to offer everybody, clients that are looking to buy properties, literally everything that they're going to need. Many of our clients are buying properties without ever coming to Portugal, especially our investor clients. Obviously, there are some lifestyle clients that are obviously wanting to experience the Algarve and they need to come here to buy. But there are many investor clients. And for those, they're looking at generating rental income and, they want to have everything easy for them. So we help them choose the right kind of property, depending upon what they're looking for. We will have Zoom calls with them. We'll have video presentations of the properties for them. And then we can provide them with numbers, spreadsheets showing an extrapolation of the kind of rental income that you can generate from that property. Also the capital appreciation that you get from that property. We have our own after-sales rentals department that we can look after the property for them. If they need the property to be furnished, we can organize all of that side for them. We can set up all the utilities for electricity and water. We put them in touch with lawyers. We put them in touch with tax accountants. If they're looking for a mortgage, a loan for that property, we have a mortgage department that can organize all of that. So in a sort of the best way of looking at it is that any need that a client who is looking to buy a property has, Ideal Homes will be able to provide that need for them. And I think that's, our real estate agency is unique in the Algarve in relation to that. And so we've had, tremendous success, especially in the last 18 months since COVID. We didn't have high expectations, for example, of the number of sales that we would have, because of course COVID was changing. For sure. But we completely we switched our method of marketing, and it's been very, very, very successful. So that's basically a summary of Ideal Homes.
It really sounds great, and it looks like you have a great experience in what you do, and I really love when people do their job in a very good way, and I see you enjoy your job. So, but please, could you tell something about Portugal? What is the climate? What languages are spoken there? Is there a high level of economy?
So Portugal is, first of all, a first world country. Okay, so it has all the services that you would need in any sort of European Union country. Okay, it's not one of the wealthiest countries in the European Union, but it's not one of the poorest either. So first world service here. It's a relatively small country. You have a north, you have a central, and you have a south. We specialize in the south, in the Algarve, which is a southern coastline, a very large southern coastline with many, many beautiful beaches. We have the Algarve probably has 200 or 300 beaches. And
oh my goodness.
Some of them have been voted, for example, one beach has been voted the most beautiful beach in Europe 4 times. And there are many, many, many beautiful beaches, right? So it's a warm climate. It's a warm climate, not as warm, quite as warm as Spain, because we're nearer the main body of the Atlantic. So that equalizes the temperature a little bit. So I would say that the average high temperature in summertime is around 28 degrees, 30 degrees Celsius. And the average low in the wintertime is probably about 8 degrees Celsius. So it's not, it's
very mild.
It's a very, very mild climate. We have many golf courses in the Algarve, over 50 golf courses. There are many holidaymakers who come here to play golf. We have an international airport, Faro International Airport, in the Algarve. We have on average 150 flights coming in per day to the Algarve, mostly from Northern Europe, from United Kingdom, Ireland, the Scandinavian countries, Germany, France, Belgium, the Netherlands. That is the majority of the clients are coming in, and they're coming to the Algarve, Portugal, and specifically the Algarve, because they want to come to they want to come on holiday and in a nice environment, nice weather, nice beaches. We've got fantastic restaurants, many restaurants, international restaurants, fantastic seafood, roads are first class. We've got a motorway that crosses across the whole of the Algarve, so you can get across the Algarve very quickly. Crime is very limited, very small amount of crime here. So I've lived in the Algarve for over 35 years, and I've experienced no crime in any of that time. Women feel very safe at nighttime walking around. So crime is very limited, corruption is very low, the Algarve is very much an in-demand place, right? People want to come to the Algarve for a variety of reasons, either to come on holiday for a week or for 2 weeks, or they want to buy a holiday home and they want to experience more time in the Algarve, or they want to come and retire to the Algarve. There are many people that are wanting to retire to the Algarve as well. All of these things makes the Algarve very much a sort of an in-demand place. People are highly motivated to come here. So, I've been living in the Algarve for 35 years, and I feel very privileged to live here. It's a very relaxed environment. You don't need to change your method of behavior. The Portuguese are very sort of relaxed and laid back. They're open to tourism, to foreigners. English is spoken widely in the Algarve. You don't need to speak any Portuguese at all in the Algarve, but of course the principal language is Portuguese. But if you leave the Algarve, if you go to Lisbon and Porto, the capital city and the second city, then obviously will be less people speaking English. So, all of these factors together make the Algarve a very attractive destination. Plus also building, the sort of the quality of the construction of modern buildings, whether it be apartments or townhouses or villas. Just 1 second, because she's...
Okay, don't worry.
Just give me 1 second. So the quality of the construction is very high indeed here, very high. Obviously, it follows European Union standards, but also because labor charges are, cost of labor. So a developer who's building properties doesn't have to spend so much money on labor. They're able to dedicate more of their investment into the materials that they employ and sort of the building quality. So, the standard of building here is, for example, much higher on average than it would be in Northern Europe, much higher on average than it would be, for example, in the United States. So this isn't an issue. Also, building regulations are very tight here in the Algarve. In fact, the whole of Portugal. That means that you can't just sort of build anywhere you want to build. You can't build within 500 meters of the coast. You can only build within urban centers. You can't build out in the countryside in green areas. So that means that there isn't lots of new building being constructed. There is some new building being constructed, but the demand is very much greater than supply of properties here. So as a real estate agent, it's a little bit frustrating for us because we don't have so many properties. I mean, we have good properties, but not as many as we'd really like. And we have lots of really hot clients. And so, we're always hunting around for new properties to be able to put in our portfolio because we just feel that we need more and more. So
okay, Sasha, thank you. So and this brings me to my next question about so many foreigners that come there, and what about this COVID period? Is it difficult to get, or maybe some strict rules for them?
Well, yes. I mean, there have been strict rules. The current rules in Portugal are that you must wear a mask everywhere outside, and you must wear a mask in supermarkets and in shops and so on. You must wear a mask when you go into a restaurant or a cafe until you sit down, then you can take the mask off. The COVID vaccination program is going well. I had my second vaccination almost 2 weeks ago. Something like the population already had two vaccinations. By the end of the year, everybody will be vaccinated. And so this sort of situation with COVID is a temporary thing, and we're seeing that the second half of this year there will be a recovery period in terms of tourists and travel and so on, so that at the beginning of next year things will be almost, but perhaps not quite, back to normal.
Okay. Yeah? So, and what about now? Do foreign tourists need any PCR tests or yes, have any isolations?
They need to show a negative test before they can come into Portugal, which they show a passport control. Obviously, there are now sort of digital passports for COVID, which are coming in, which will also allow people to come in. So it's, you know, each country is slightly different. Some countries, just 1 second, sorry.
Don't worry.
Just 1 second, sorry. Qual é o nome da rua? Nome da rua? São Pedro. São Pedro. Okay, where were we? So, yes, so each, you know, every country has its own rules, right, in terms of allowing people to come into Portugal. So Portugal has its own rules about allowing people to come in, and other people have their own rules about going to Portugal and then coming back into their own country. So this is all changing from moment to moment. And you you have one set of rules this week, and then the rules change the next week. So it's a changing picture.
But
it's getting better and better and better. It's getting easier and easier and easier to come into Portugal.
Yeah, and we're used to this. We're trying to use to this new style of life. So I see we need to be in time. What about investors? Are there a lot in your area?
Oh, yes. Investors are from all over the world, right? Our business is mostly for people who are international clients, right? Not Portuguese clients. We're not really dealing with the Portuguese market as such. We're dealing with clients from all over the world. So let me just respond to this. Sorry. Yes, so the international market is, principally people from the United States. In the last 12 months, we've had people from the United States, many clients from the United States. From the UK, of course, is a big market for us. Ireland is a big market for us. Scandinavian countries is a big market for us. Germany is also a big market for us. So we have international speakers, of course, that are able to handle all of these languages.
All of them need in your mild climate, I see, because they're from the northern parts of the planet. So what is about prices for properties?
Sorry?
What is about property prices in your country?
Well, they are not cheap. So, because demand is high. So if you want a luxury 2-bedroom apartment, then you should be expecting to be starting price of about 400,000 euros and upwards of that. If you're looking at a good villa, then you're really looking at 600,000 or 700,000 euros and up from that. And there are no limits really, depending upon whether you want a sea view. If you want, for example, a 2-bedroom apartment, luxury apartment with sea view, that's going to cost you, 600,000 euros. So, but there are cheaper properties. We have obviously properties out in the countryside. And the further away you are from the coast, the further away you are from a town, then the cheaper the properties will be. And the majority of the market, about 70% of the market, is looking for a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom luxury apartment in a town close to the beaches. That is where the majority of the market is. Yeah.
Okay. And what about majority of prices?
Well, I would say so. I would say that the average sales price for our apartments is around 500,000, something like that. That's the average price of our apartments that we're selling.
Okay. And what about regions? What regions are most profitable for buying real estate in your area?
So, the Algarve is heterogeneous in the sense that different areas of the Algarve have different characteristics. So you may want to go, for example, in a golfing zone. And there are areas in the Algarve where there are many golf courses. You want to be in a rich playground. We have Quinta do Lago and Valdelobo, where you can buy a 10 million euro villa, right? And so that's luxury, it's a sort of a manicured environment. But then you have the other end of the extreme, you have small little sleepy fishing villages, right? Where there's very little tourism. And then you have, party towns like Albufeira is a party town, for example, for the younger generation. But then you have, for example, Lagos and Tavira, which are more for the sort of, this sort of middle-aged and upwards who are looking more for culture, looking more for museums and really nice restaurants and so on. So, it depends upon, the Algarve has something for everybody, depending on exactly what it is that you're looking for. Yeah.
Thank you. So, and my next question is about, is it difficult for foreigners to buy property? What about the process, the documents? Are there any restrictions for foreigners?
No at all. That's one of the attractions of the Algarve. One of the attractions is that it's a very, very simple buying process. And the buying process is the same for everybody, whether they are Portuguese, whether they are a European Union citizen, whether they are a non-European Union citizen. All the taxes that you have to pay are all absolutely identical. It will be depending upon the purchase price of the property. Imagine that you find a property that you you'd like to purchase. You decide on a price with the seller. There may be some negotiation, there may be not some negotiation, depending upon, on the case-by-case basis. What would then happen is that you would instruct a lawyer. There are many conveyancing lawyers in the Algarve that will be able to help you, represent you in the purchase of the property. You will put down a reservation, 5,000 euros, 6,000 euros. It's a refundable reservation to take the property off the market. Your lawyer would then collect the paperwork associated with that property to do the research, do the due diligence. That paperwork tells you everything that you need to know about that property in order for you to feel comfortable to take it to the next stage. Your lawyer will then draft a contract which details in full what you're buying, the purchase price, the deposit amount that you're going to put down when you sign that deposit, all the terms and conditions. And then once you're happy with that, you can sign that contract, you send over the deposit, and it's at that stage that you're committed to the purchase. So all contracts in Portugal must contain the following clauses. It must contain a clause which says that if you were, after you've paid your deposit, if you then don't complete on the purchase, you would lose your deposit. On the other hand, if the seller doesn't deliver you the property as specified in the contract, when specified in the contract, then they have to pay you back double your deposit. So this is a legal requirement. So in other words, once you're not signing that contract until your lawyer's done all the research and so on. But this is a very simple process because the paperwork tells you everything you need to know. So the work that the lawyer needs to do to confirm that the property is everything's okay with the property is a morning or an afternoon's work, right? So it's nothing hidden from view. What will then happen is that You paid your deposit, and then in that contract will be a completion date, which depends on whether it's something property which is under construction or property which is already completed. You can negotiate with the seller as to when that completion date is. It's usually a month or 2 months after you put down your deposit. You either come to Portugal for that completion, because that is done in front of a notary, an official notary, or if you can't turn up, then you can get a power of attorney for your lawyer to do that for you. You pay the balance at that notary, and then you get the property paperwork registered in your name, and the property is yours. And it's as simple as that. It's very simple, very black and white, very
simple, clear, and it really sounds like explanation why there are so many foreign investors in your country.
It's very easy. It's very easy.
So I have one more question about mortgage for foreigners. Is it possible for them to get it?
All the banks will lend to foreigners. No issues there at all. The rules slightly different for someone who is earning money outside of Portugal, but it's not related to them being a foreigner. It's related to the fact that it's not income that they're earning in Portugal. So the rules are slightly different, but some banks will lend you up to 80% of the purchase price of the property. Other banks will lend you 70% of the purchase price of the property. We work with 7 or 8 banks, so we can get quotes from a number of different banks. They're set up for that. They have their application forms in English and so on. So it's all very simple. You can go for a flexible interest rate mortgage, and the interest rate at the moment is extremely low. It's less than 1%. It's something like 0.8% interest rate at the moment in Portugal. Historically, it's been very low for the many years. So since about 2012, 2013, it's been hovering around 1.25%, and it's linked to the European Central Bank rate, which is negative. So for a long period of time, the flexible interest rate has been low, but right now it's actually extremely low. Or you can go for a fixed interest rate mortgage. You can fix it for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, no problem at all. Obviously, the fixed interest rate mortgage is a little bit higher than a variable interest rate mortgage. It will be currently at the moment around 1.25%, 1.5%. And then you can borrow up until the age of 80. So the mortgage must terminate by the age of 80. So if you're 60, you can have a 20-year mortgage. If you're 40, you can have an 80-year mortgage.
Thank you so much. I see you have a really great expertise in your topic. So what about taxes? What about taxes on
So you have taxes to pay when you're purchasing the property. There is a number of different taxes. There's what's called property transfer tax, which is based on the purchase price of the property. There's stamp duty, which is based on the purchase price of the property. There's your lawyer's fees, which is usually based on the purchase price of the property. There's notary fees, and there's registration fees. So all of that together, right, you can come up with a percentage. That percentage varies depending upon the purchase price of the property. But if I was to tell you that if a property was around 500,000 euros mark, if you're purchasing a 500,000, all of those taxes plus the lawyer's fees together will be around 7.5% of the purchase price of the property. Yeah.
Okay.
All absolutely defined, right? So once you've selected the property and know what the purchase price of the property is, your lawyer can give you a full breakdown of all of those costs, and his charges are based on you proceeding with the purchase of the property. So imagine that he does his work, does the due diligence on that property, and you decide not to proceed with the purchase. Well, in that case, you have no lawyer's fees to pay. So you're only incurring lawyer's fees, and it's a fixed sum, predefined, if you're actually proceeding to the purchase. So you've got those taxes to pay, and then of course you've got an annual property tax that you must pay. You know, your municipal tax for road cleaning, for garbage and that kind of thing, and that's always very low in Portugal. So for a property of around 500,000 euros, it's going to be maybe 500 or 600 euros per year for your property taxes. So not expensive.
Oh, thank you. And maybe there are some other payments which buyers need to
well, not really. I mean, obviously you've got electricity and water and gas bills. You have these payments, of course, to make. If you are in a condominium, in an apartment where you are sharing some of the facilities, you will have condominium fees for managing the swimming pool, lift maintenance, cleaning of the common areas, gardening, water, and so on. But again, these are not particularly expensive. So even on a luxury development, a 3-bedroom apartment is probably going to cost you per year, the condominium, about 1,200 euros per year for the looking after the common areas. So it's not, once you've purchased your property, the ongoing costs are really all quite low. Yeah, they're all quite low because labor, the average salary in Portugal is only about 1,000 euros a month. So labor is relatively cheap. So you're not having to pay a lot of money for all of these bills. Yeah, the purchase taxes, that 7.5%, is not particularly low, right? There are some other countries where you're paying less than that, so that's not particularly low. But everything else is low. So running costs, maintenance of your property, low. Yeah.
So, and one of most likely questions is connected with golden visa. Maybe you can tell something about this.
Sure. Well, so the important thing to recognize or to understand is that the golden visa in its present form is terminating at the end of this year. So that is finishing at the end of this year, but there's still the opportunities to get a golden visa now. So you can buy a property now and get the golden visa. No problem at all, because you can apply for the golden visa. Providing you've applied for the golden visa before the end of the year, then you'll be able to use the current rules, rather than what's happening after the end of this year. And you need to spend 500,000 euros in cash on that property. So it must be a cash purchase, not on a mortgage. If you're buying a property which is above 500,000 euros, the difference can be on a mortgage. So if you're buying a property at 700,000, you can invest 500,000 in cash, and then you can get a mortgage on another 200,000. That's not an issue. And then that will give you, you will have a minimum stay in Portugal in year 1 that you must have 7 days. And in years 2 and 3, 14 days together. Between year 2 and 3, 14 days in total, and between years 4 and 5, 14 years in total. So very minimal amount of time that you need to spend in Portugal. And then that would allow you to have free access to the Schengen area, which is the majority of the European Union, plus also Switzerland and Iceland. And then in the 6th year, because the golden visa lasts for 5 years, and in the 6th year, you'll be able to get Portuguese citizenship. And then, of course, become a European Union member fully. Yeah. So it's a very simple, very black and white process, and we have many clients that are going for the golden visa.
I see it's really a short time for us to talk, because I see I can listen to you a lot of time because it's really very impressive information, because lots of people are trying to find their places, and they try to choose between different countries, and sometimes there is no enough information, there is no how to say enough experts who can tell it, who can help with it. And I see that you have this expertise. Unfortunately, I see you're absolutely expert in your field, and I see we have some minutes before finishing. Maybe you can show some interesting properties right now. Let's go through.
Here. So, for example, we have this development here, which is under construction in Lagos, ranging from 395,000 to 1.15 million. This is a luxury development of 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom apartments with panoramic sea views. Let me just show you some more photos. So there, that's the sort of views that you get.
That's great.
There's a beautiful, beautiful marina here. This is the center of Lagos. This is under construction. This will be completing in summer 2023, but it has everything. It has solar panels, underfloor heating, central vacuuming system, central hi-fi system, 5 fiber optic cable, smart home system, a spa with an inside heated pool, sauna, gymnasium, jacuzzi, outside pool. On the rooftop, there are another 16 jacuzzis on the roof. And so, you know, that is
fantastic.
And a fantastic development. And we've sold, so we only released these for sale about 3 months ago, and we've already sold more than 50%. And it's only completing 2023. So
in 23, okay.
But this would work for the Golden Visa. This will work for the Golden Visa as well. Here is another luxury development in La Bouche, which is, again, close to the center of town. You don't really have sea views here, but it has all these sort of modern amenities. And we've sold many units from this developer. He builds many luxury apartments. It's not a very good picture here, but anyway, that's another one. We have another set of townhouses here, which is in Kaweru. Some of these have sea views. These are 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom townhouses with a really nice outside pool. If I show you the sort of the inside here, it's fully finished.
It's absolutely ready for live.
Ready to live, completely ready to live. Really nice environment. 10-minute walk to the beach. And then we have, here we have something which is Frontline, which is just started construction. Every single unit here will have panoramic sea views. Let me show you some pictures here. So here's an area that fantastic, absolutely fantastic sea views. You know, and these are 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom apartments, all on this hill near the center of a town. You can walk to the beach, and this is Frontline. So, you know, if you really want something with sea views, we've got that as well. So that's some examples of something. We have something else here, which has got rooftop terrace with jacuzzi, again, with sort of sea views. And then if we look at, I don't know what else. Let me just see what else we've got here. So obviously we've got really nice villas for sale. This one's 2.5 million. And then we have, what else have we got here?
Yeah, you have a very different prices for different kind of investors.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, your budget needs to be, you know, for the cheapest apartments that we've got, your budget needs to be a minimum of 250,000 euros. But at 250,000 euros, the options are limited. The higher the budget, the wider your options are. Yeah, and if you've got a budget of, let's say, 500,000 for an apartment, we have lots of options for you. If you're looking for a villa, you know, 700, 800,000, you're starting to get lots of options. Yeah, and then it just depends upon what the budget of the client is and what exactly they're looking for. Yeah.
Sasha, thank you so much for this really adorable interview. I'm very impressed because I'm interested in this topic, and I also like a lot of people looking for different kinds of properties in different countries. And I hope our interview was very useful for our viewers. And guys, if you have any questions, you are welcome to ask them on Realting, or you can comment this video. And so what I'm saying, I wish you good luck in doing your very important work to make people more happy, because what you're doing is you help people to realize their dreams as they see, as they feel.
Want to make it very easy for people, and this is the idea: is that to make it very easy for people, so that, you know, we hold them by the hand effectively, and you know, help them every step of the way. And I'm just putting in the text box. I'm just opening up the text box. I'm just putting in my email address. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can communicate to me directly if you want. Your client.
Okay. Thank you, Sasha.
Portugal.com, and I'm happy to answer any of your questions. We can have more Zoom calls. I'm available to talk at any point. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. And I was happy to meet you. Bye.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Okay. All the best. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.